Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Culture Wave Media Network. It is me, Darian Scalamoni. I am here to finally start discussing some of the films that I saw at this year's Sundance Film Festival. I had access to 6 films that I saw. Actually, I believe it might have been 5 that I saw over the weekend for the Sundance Film Festival for this year. And the first one I'm going to be talking to you guys about right now is a movie called Chasing Summer. This is a film that is written and stars the stand-up comedian Iliza Shlesinger. It is directed by Josephine Decker, who had previously done films like Madeline's Madeline and Shirley. So there is a few things that I wanted to discuss with this movie. It was the first film that I watched from Sundance, and from reading about the premise, I was excited. I like Iliza Shlesinger as a comedian, and I haven't seen any of her previous acting work, but I thought it was really interesting that she was getting an opportunity to star in a movie that she was writing with Josephine Decker, who her prolific kind of indie roots is something that I thought could be a really good and interesting combination for a movie of this caliber. But unfortunately, what this movie is it's something that it's not necessarily made for me, I would say. It's kind of, it has elements of being like a Hallmark movie, but with a little bit more edge. It has a little bit more sexiness to it. And I'm going to discuss with you guys a little bit about the movie, let you guys know what my thoughts are. This movie doesn't have distribution at this point, so as of right now, not sure if you guys will be able to check this movie out at any point, but still wanted to give my first thoughts on what I saw with this. So Iliza plays a character by the name of Aimee. She works for the Red Cross. She is a humanitarian worker. She goes into these hurricane sites and these tornado sites where all these issues are kind of happening, and she always has done this. It's her life work. She is really in love with it, and it's led to her kind of finding her own calling, but she's never been able to really truly find herself. And so what that obviously leads to in terms of genre is it becomes kind of something of a coming of age story for Iliza, who is again in her 40s. In real life, I'm not sure if her character is in her mid to late 30s in this, or if she is in her 40s. It's never really specified, but she is working in this. She has a boyfriend in the Red Cross, and she finds out that he is kind of having an affair on her, and she decides that for the time being, before she does this huge humanitarian trip to Jakarta, Indonesia, one of her dream places that she wanted to do a mission, she decides to go home for a little while in Texas to stay with her parents and kind of reset herself. And amongst that, we see a lot of the ensemble that is in this movie. We have Garrett Wareing, who plays a young man named Colby. Chase is played by Tom Welling, obviously best known for Smallville, playing Clark Kent, Superman. He is in this movie as her high school ex-boyfriend. Lola Tung, best known for The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is her kind of getting her toes wet in something a little bit outside. It's still kind of similar genre, rom-com kind of vibes, but she's playing a supporting character working with a director like Decker, which is impressive, and excited to see kind of where her career leads. Cassidy Freeman plays her sister Marissa, and Megan Mullally plays her mother Leanne. As I said, this movie takes place in Texas, and what a lot of this film deals with is Aimee, the character, dealing with all of the old awkward kind of things that came from her hometown and her high school life. There's an awkward moment in a supermarket with some girls that were like in a clique when she was in high school and treated her poorly. Obviously, the ex for Tom Welling's character. But what this is really an exploration of Iliza's character trying to, again, find herself and figure out if she's able to let go of those old demons, or is she kind of taking on a different persona with going back home. So what this is kind of something where she is still having feelings for Chase, Tom Welling's character, amidst the fact that he's in a relationship, he's a married man, he has children, and she also strikes up this relationship with Lola Tung's character in terms of friends. Lola works at the local roller rink, which her sister owns and operates. She offers to help, Iliza's character does, and when Lola Tung's character takes her to a party with a bunch of young men and women, she winds up kind of having a sexual relationship, which eventually becomes a romantic relationship with Garrett Wareing's character of Colby. And I would say that is the romance element of this movie is what kind of threw me off a lot. I think that what I was most impressed with Chasing Summer was the fact that I think Iliza does a great job of holding her own in a starring role, especially in a movie that is supposed to be a little bit more human. The problem with this, though, is that it's a movie that it feels very cliche in a lot of moments, and you would hope with a stand-up like this, though she is maybe trying to fit that tone into more of like a studio set kind of vibe, I would have liked to have seen something even more edgy in terms of the comedy to match even some of the kind of steamier scenes that we get between her and other characters in the movie. So it has a cozy kind of vibe to it. It's a summer movie, as I said, and it deals with a lot of things that as we get older, we start to realize those awkward moments with high school sweethearts and high school friends and relationships and getting older, but it doesn't hit that tone that I was really hoping for with it. I was hoping for this laugh out loud comedy with some romantic elements and maybe a little bit of drama, to where I think that I really only came out of this thinking, okay, well, I would like to see Iliza do some more work in film and TV, and this is a good kind of first leading role for her to kind of see where she goes. So it was a bit of a disappointment. I was hoping for a little bit more out of this movie, but there were some things that I liked. Like I said, Eliza's character, great needle drops in this movie for some great kind of pop punk 90s kind of stuff. We had Lit in here. We had Sum 41, some bands that I love, My Own Worst Enemy and Fat Lip. Again, like very popular, famous songs they were able to get for this. And Josephine Decker directing this is the biggest kind of story coming out of this movie because, as I said, she has never really done anything along the lines of this, really in particular. So it's a different kind of vibe, but hoping she can kind of return to some more serious fare with her next work. But that is my early thoughts. And those are my thoughts on Chasing Summer, which I saw at the Sundance Film Festival virtually. If you had a chance to see the movie across Sundance, whether you were there, in Utah or you had a chance to buy a ticket and see it online, let me know your thoughts on what you thought about Chasing Summer. Or if you haven't seen it, is this a movie that you're interested in seeing? Eventually, hopefully, maybe it gets some distribution and you can sound off in the comments as well. But give this video a like if you guys can. And subscribe to us here at the Culture Rate Media Network. I am going to be covering a few other movies that I saw at the festival this year remotely. Excited to talk about those with you. And also, week to week right now, we are covering Night of the Seven Kingdoms on HBO, the Game of Thrones spinoff. Vinny and Mark are covering Jujutsu Kaisen, the anime series on Crunchyroll. They're covering that week to week. And we have some upcoming reviews for some films coming out very soon, like Wuthering Heights, as well as Crime 101. So keep your eyes out for that. Just signing off, I'm Darian Scalamoni, and thank you for watching.
This is The Culture.